This is our B2B product ecosystem, and it acknowledges that your customers and clients are going through a process. They actually start off as a stranger. This is the buying cycle. They start off as a stranger, then they become a suspect. After they become a suspect, they move into the prospect zone before they become a client. Now, at each of these different stages, the people that you are working with and going to be working with as your clients, they're in a different mental state at each of these different stages. A stranger is most likely worrying about a bunch of headaches that they have. They're not fully clear on what it is that you do or what you're about. A suspect, all they see are the obstacles. And you'll know this because suspects are suspicious. These are the people that say, oh, how do I know that it's going to work for me, right? Prospects, we're starting to talk about aspirations. They're starting to see that they could get an outcome from what it is that you're doing. And then clients, we can talk about the full breadth of their desires. What I see is I see a whole lot of people talking to everyone as if they are a prospect or a client. They're coming in and they're talking about aspirations and desires. And this little person over here is going, I haven't even been able to join the dots. I don't understand how what you do fixes the headache that I have. Or they're over here going, yeah, listen, I've heard about this stuff before and I don't believe it's going to work out for me. So if that's the case, and if we can acknowledge this, why don't we use this to our advantage and pull together a bunch of different products and services that reflect the mindset at each of these stages and at a specific price point to match what people are thinking and are willing to pay for at each of these stages. So if it's a stranger that we're dealing with, why don't we give them a gift? And the gift that we are going to sell them could be something as simple as a lead magnet, a free resource, a membership to your group, something like that, a checklist, a roadmap, a framework. And the price for this particular gift is data. First name, last name, email address, that type of thing. And what you'll notice is that the best lead magnets talk about the headaches that your customers and clients have before they know they need you. So as an example, I remember many, many years ago, I was talking to a potential client and they said, James, can you give me some advice about how to get more leads from trade shows? And I wanted to say, well, number one, don't bother with trade shows. There are faster, cheaper, easier ways to get leads. But instead I pulled together a resource, how to get leads from trade shows. And I pulled that resource because it was a headache that our customers and clients have before they know they need us. Then they could come into our world and I could say, hey, there are smarter ways than doing trade shows. So strangers have headaches. Suspects are suspicious, so they see the obstacles. Now you'll see this acronym here, P4S. That stands for product for suspects, product for suspects. So we want to sell something that's probably going to take up less than an hour of their time. And if something is going to take up an hour of their time, 1 hour of their time is about $100. Have a think about it this way. If you're going to sell a webinar, charge that's going to go for about an hour, charge $100. If you're going to sell a short course that's going to take up an hour of someone's time, sell it for $100. This is a really easy price point for your customers and clients to wrap their head around. Also imagine this. If you wanted to sell a meeting at this particular stage as a product, frame your meeting as a particular product, again, you could charge $100 for an hour, or you could just sell the hour because your customers and clients might not have a lot of time and they might view their hour as more valuable than $100. So I talk about $100 in an hour as a way for us to think about pricing at this particular level. Sell something for $100 that's going to take an hour, or come up with something that's $100 and price it at an hour, if that makes sense to you. All right. So at this particular point, a stranger has a headache. We solve that problem by selling them something for their first name, last name, email address, and maybe a phone number. Then we introduce them to a framework that's going to help them overcome their obstacles, a roadmap, and that can be run as a strategy call or it could be sold as a product. Then we move into the prospect zone. And at the prospect zone, a lot of people are stuck either trying to sell something small, $300 thing, a $900 thing, and they've got the model wrong, when this could indeed be a $900 thing or a $300 thing sold off the back of a webinar or a video or something like that. At the prospect zone, that's the first mistake. The second mistake is that people often try to sell what are classic continuity products. Continuity products are MRR, monthly recurring revenue. And I got to say, this is where the money lives, monthly recurring revenue products. But it's really hard to sell a monthly recurring revenue product. It's like asking someone to marry you. Now, if you're asking a stranger to marry you on the first date, that is really, really hard. But however, if someone's gone through this process and they've gone from a stranger to a suspect to a prospect, and then they've become a client, after somebody has become a client, then let's sell them the continuity product, which is why we've got this piece in the middle called the HNB, the high no-brainer. Now, this is some sort of standalone version of your product or service. Now, some people only have a standalone version of their product or service. It's one and it's done. And that's not helpful either, because if you've got only one version of your product or service, which is one and done, it means that you're constantly on the hunt for new customers and clients. But if you have an MRR product that you can sell off the back of your one and done type of product or service, that means you can have a scalable business. So if we're at the prospect zone, we can sell aspirations. But get this, write this down. Smaller promises get faster decisions. At the stranger stage, opt in for this free gift. Small promise, fast decision. Suspect stage, hey, buy this product, $100. Book a meeting, 1 hour of your time. Smaller promises, faster decisions. Now, at this particular stage, the prospect, a high no-brainer, is usually a single outcome-focused standalone product that tackles some sort of thing that the person wants an outcome to, which is why we're talking about aspirations. Now, at this particular point, you can sell your thing, which is $1,600, $3,600, $4,800, $10,000, whatever it's going to be. But we want to make it standalone. And it's called a high no-brainer because it's a high price. The person has to think about it, but it's also a no-brainer because they're paying for an outcome that's specific to them. We're tackling an aspiration. So we go from a stranger to a suspect to a prospect to a client, where we sell headaches, obstacles, aspirations, and desires. We sell a gift for first name, last name, email address, phone number. We sell a product for suspects or a meeting for $100 or an hour of somebody's time. Then we can have that strategy call where we sell something for $1,600, $3,000, $5,000, and then we can introduce our monthly recurring revenue product